Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Adventure Built. Today I'm going to install something that you would think is just a nice thing to have, but living in the desert, it really is a necessity. The YAKIMA SLIMSHADY. It's going on my 2020 Tacoma. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know if you guys know or not, but I really like YAKIMA products. Right now I have their aero bars on my camper shell, I have a bike rack, now I have the SLIMSHADY awning. This thing is super cool, super easy to set up. I cannot wait to get this thing on my Tacoma. If you've ever spent a summer in Arizona, you know the temperatures can get well over 115 degrees, and in the sun it is brutal. This YAKIMA SLIMSHADY is going to go a long way to protecting me and my family from the sun in this extreme desert heat. And if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really does help the channel grow. All right guys, let's get into this build. First, let's start off with what's in the box. So the kit comes with obviously the awning. It comes with the two brackets that hold this to the rack. These are adapters that will adapt a round bar YAKIMA rack to be able to take these feet, which are basically made for more of an arrow shaped rack. There's also two stakes for tying it down on a windy day, mounting hardware, and two locking keys. And the kit does come with its own wrench for install, but I'm going to use a 13mm socket on a wrench just to make it a little bit quicker. One thing you should consider when setting this all up is what side of your vehicle do you want your shade on? Driver's side or passenger side? I talked to my wife at length about this because of our camp setup, and she said she would like it more on the driver's side, so that's what we're gonna go with. Typically, we set our tent up to come out on the passenger side. Just in the off chance we have to set up on the side of a road, it won't be towards traffic, it will be away from it. So now that I know what side of the vehicle this is going to be set up on, let's start with the pre-assembly, attaching the brackets to the awning itself. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is take out my tape measure and measure out 21.5 inches from the end of the base plate. Now I have that mark, and I'm gonna mark the other side. And now that I have the other side marked, I'm going to take my tape measure, make sure the two marks that I made equal 35 inches, which is the spread of my bars. 35 on the dot. I guess my math was not wrong for once. Now I'm going to assemble this the same way that it will sit on the rack. This is the zipper here, it is facing down. This is the base plate, it will be facing towards the rack itself. The actual feet to it will position themselves so that the bar clamps are like so. And as you can see, there are two channels, a bottom channel and a top channel. This groove here inserts into the bottom channel, and then this plate here bolts into the bolts that slide through the top channel. Step one is going to be pre-assembling the clamps to the SLIMSHADY awning. And the first thing you have to do is pull off this end cap to be able to get your two bolts slid into the top of the track, and then reinsert your end cap. Now you want these to go in the top of the track the way the foot inserts. So the zipper is on the bottom, these go in the top. You're going to index the bottom of your clamp here into the bottom track here. We have come up to our first minor roadblock. Luckily it's in step one, because why wouldn't it be in step one? So the directions say that you can actually push these bolts into the track on the top notch here, and then this bottom plate should index on the bottom part of the track here, and then it will just be able to go onto these bolts, and it acts like it should work out just fine. However, as you can see, there's no actual way, because of the slots, these bolts not being slotted, there's no actually way to get this into the track and onto these bolts in the same thing. So it wants you to do this. However, you can see the clearance does not allow for these bolts to go over into these holes. So the only workaround that I was able to come up with, so the first thing you have to do is take your clamp and feed the front bolt through the hole, hold it from the threads. You're going to index the bottom into the track and then get that bolt so that the threads line up square with the actual track itself, and then slide it on. And then take your second bolt and put that through, and slide that on, feeding the threads of the bolt through the way it needs to go. And even now with this thing, it's not coming off. So I don't know any other better way to do it, but that's the way that seems to work. So now we have it on the track. We're gonna slide it all the way down until we get to our mark. And center it on that mark. Now that we've gotten the clamp where we need it, we're going to put on a lock washer and a bolt and put them on hand tight. And now that's done, we're gonna open this clamp up all the way. And now let's do the other side. I've got the other side on, and before I lock down these bolts, I wanna make sure that these are actually the width apart that I need. I'm looking for 35 inches, and I'm measuring from the side with the keyhole to the side with the keyhole, because those do not move. The other sides actually move. And I'm right at 35 inches. Perfect. Now it's time to lock these bolts down with a 13mm socket. Remember, this is still aluminum. Don't over tighten it, just tight enough to let the lock washers do their job. Step number 4 is installing the awning on the rack. Now the directions call for a buddy lift on this, but the awning weighs 26 pounds. I'm pretty confident that I can handle that weight, even a little bit over my head. Be sure that you installed the clamps the right way. As you can see, the clamps are on the bottom, the zipper's on the bottom, the YAKIMA is actually facing where you can read it. This is the proper way. If you did it upside down, the whole thing is gonna be upside down and you're gonna have to start all over again. I'm going to install this by placing the feet of the actual awning itself onto my bar ends, and I'm going to shove it all the way out to the end of the bar end. That way it's got lots of clearance. Like a glove. The awning is clamped down onto my rack and it's not going anywhere. That is super solid. Now it's time to deploy the awning for the first time. I have never set up one of these awnings before. Let's see how long it takes. A minute and 58 seconds. Not bad for someone who's never set up an awning before. Well, this type of awning. I've set up tarps in the trees and off of cars and stuff, but never a legitimate awning. So that was super fast, way easier than I thought it would be. YAKIMA has some great reviews on this Slim Shady awning and they have earned it. It's super high quality. I definitely like the ease of setup and just everything feels nice and solid. Step number 1 to deploy the Slim Shady awning is to remove these straps here and unzip it from the middle outwards on both ends. As you can see, even with the protective cover unzipped and folded back, there's still 2 Velcro straps that hold the awning on itself. That way it doesn't just fall out of the bag. So the next step is going to be removing those 2 straps, and then the awning folds under itself, so you have to unroll it out from the bottom. Now from here, I've only unfolded it about 1/3 of the way, but I still have enough room to grab the poles that are up in the track. Now all you have to do, these poles are on rubber blocks, and the rubber blocks on these poles, and they just index them into this track, so they just pull straight out. And now we can keep unrolling the awning. With the Slim Shady awning all the way extended, hold it in one hand and grab the pole on each side, and all you're going to do is twist the end, extend it outward. there is a metal hole receptacle on the end that it goes into, and then just tighten it down. Once you get the side support bolt nice and tight and taut, pull down the front leg, loosen the bottom, press it down until it hits the ground, and then tighten it up. And that's pretty much it. Now, the only thing that you would have to do now is there are Velcro straps that hold along the support pole, and there are 4 of those per side. You can Velcro those on. And then of course, there are also the tie down rope, and you can tie this out if there's any kind of wind, worried about rain or anything sucking this in, and it's just more support also. In all reality, you really should put it in, but obviously it's your choice. I did a little test to show kind of the effectiveness of shade in the desert sun, especially the YAKIMA SLIMSHADY awning. I shot the steel panel that was in the sun, and it measured at 141 degrees Fahrenheit. I've had the awning up for about 30 minutes. The temperature has already come down to, and the temperature of that steel panel has come down to 89 degrees, and it's about 81 degrees outside. Now, I fully realize that it's not a true comparison because steel is super conductive and it holds on to that heat. But it just goes to show the shade is super important in the desert, and this awning is going to make our desert experience this summer much more enjoyable. I hope you guys liked the install video. If you did, hit that thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.